What is happening, Crypto Farm? I hope all is well. I'm gonna keep this short, actually, 60 seconds. So, IBM, Stellar Partnership. Oh, look at that. IBM are partnered with Stellar. I'm gonna use XRP. Ooh. Right, let's just, for starters, right, IBM Stellar ledger and blockchain is apparently their public ledger. Public. Hyperledger Fabric framework and tool is more for the implementation of private ledgers, which is why BAB and BAX are planning on using Hyperledger for their private banking blockchain and Interledger protocol for cross-ledger, and Ethereum for the public ledger. So you're gonna have a private banking ledger on Hyperledger Fabric. You're gonna have a public ledger on Ethereum for the customers who need to see what's going on and that. So that's all full transparency to customers and users. But then there's also Hyperledger Quilt plugged onto the back end of it. So how can people not expect everyone else to do the same? They need private and public ledgers. They're gonna go on Hyperledger and Interledger and other forms of software to secure public ledgers and private ledgers for different applications. Consider like Hyperledger Burrow and Codius, basically the same thing, but they're not gonna be the same thing. One will be like concentrating enterprise private level, and one of them is going to be one anyone can use. So I think when we hear all these institutions and all that coming out with their own blockchains, and everyone's like, oh, IBM are partnered with Stellar, IBM are partnered with Stellar. Well, so what? So what? IBM are also partner and membered to Hyperledger, that's got 250 plus institutions, payment providers, banks and corporations signed up as members to it. Interledger Protocol and Interledger, they're all signed up as members to it. So, mate, like, come on, let's have it right. Don't start sitting there, well, IBM are partnered with XLM. So, where's XLM's fucking 250 institutions, payment providers and banks that they've partnered with? You only got IBM, yeah, is that it? IBM? Because I got a monster list ready to use ILP and Hyperledger. You got, IBM using Stellar. What they do, it'll be an internal internal public blockchain, transparent to IBM customers. You'll likely see TradeLens using it a little bit for any of the shipping, the supply chain and the shipping details, anything like that can be public will be public on Stellar's ledger. And then anything within that supply chain or logistics or anything within TradeLens that needs to be private, they're probably going to turn to Hyperledger Fabric. I'm not 100%, don't hold me to what I'm saying here, I'm just speculating, and I'm going to go and give it another little search, but I'm pretty sure if it was a private ledger, they'd be using Hyperledger Fabric. The fact that they've partnered with and are using XLM leaves me to think that that's their public supply chain ledger. Or it could be the public security ledger, could be the public, they're building a few, IBM, a few different applications within their ledger, which will then interoperate with other ledgers through ILP. So at the end of the day, unlike their IBM partnership with XLM, so doesn't really bother me that much. And if you really think that they're gonna, they might even come out and say, oh, IBM and Interstellar in a cross-border payment thing, like, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh well, XLM and IBM are doing their own cross-border. What have they called it? Worldwire. So go on Google and Google IBM in IBM Stellar Worldwire, And just see what it says. If it says cross-border payment, I will almost guarantee it's still internal network. So IBM's a big company. I'm guessing they've got offices in America, in the UK, all over the place. And if they want to send internal transactions within that network, and it goes across a border but stays within IBM's network, no doubt XLM can do that, no doubt. But what about interoperability with the networks of other companies, other countries, other banks, other payment institutions? What happens then? It's Interledger Protocol again, innit? Don't forget, guys. Don't get caught up in the cross-border payment and this and that. Got a sneeze coming on. Stopped to sneeze that apparently, and it just fucking worked then. But yeah, don't just because it comes out and says, oh, we're building a blockchain with this crypto for cross-border payments. Make no mistake, the W3C is in control of ILP, so that is the current way you're doing it. Cross-border payments within the same network, obviously you're going to be able to use your native currency, multiple currencies within your network. But again, what about the interoperability between networks? Chris Larson again said it himself, blockchains don't solve the problem, that is the lack of internetworking between current networks. Blockchain is just adding more networks. ILP is the answer and solution to the internetworking problem. It will interlink and enable every other network and ledger to interoperate with each other. So to be honest, I don't really care. Any Hyperledger member, ILP member, starts making their own ledger and they adopt another coin that's not XRP for it, we shouldn't really be bothered about that, guys. The only thing that matters is that that blockchain is on Hyperledger member, and they've got to interoperate with other networks at the end of the day. They've just got to. So there's no ifs or buts for me. It is what it is. It's plain as day. Many payment providers, institutions, corporations and banks are going to make their own ledgers. They're going to have their own coins, or they'll partner with another coin inside it. And then for cross-network, I'm going to stop saying cross-border in case IBM's XLM is going cross-border in their own network. I'm actually just going to be like, look, we're cross-network now. The interoperability of network. When you want to send a payment from one network to another, not even borders now, we're going beyond borders. You want to send a payment from one network to the other, it's internetworking, therefore you will be following the chosen interoperability protocol. So I'm going to go home and have a little look at this IBM stuff. I'm going to have another little dig into it and expect a follow-up video in the morning, maybe even a little later on, but I'm on my way home at the moment. Live long and hodl. Doesn't matter what IBM do, doesn't matter what JP Morgan do, doesn't even matter what the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve, when they bring the CBDC pound out and the CBDC euro and dollar, doesn't matter. They all still need an interoperability protocol, and they all still need a bridge asset between them. As said this morning, once it gets onto machine payments, they ain't gonna care what 3 or 4 letters are in front of them. They care how fast it is, how cheap it is, how much friction's there, and they're just going to pick the best deal, which at the moment and for the foreseeable future, if not a decade or two, that deal is XRP. It is just the way to go, the way to move forward. No doubt there's going to be more coins that gain value. I've got a lot of faith in BAX, I've got a lot of faith in TRX, both also on Hyperledger. Massive faith in XRP, which is between all the ledgers. Live long and hodl. Love crypto, love XRP, and we love you. Peace out.